Hey guys, Anime Gypsy here with another chapter of Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia review. This is chapter 198. We are exactly two chapters away from the big 2-0, and what I think is going to happen here is that Horikoshi is going to show us a big ace in the hole that Class 1B has, because I don't really think we were thoroughly introduced to every single character in 1B, and that's just my opinion. Now, that aside, let's dive into this chapter. We have 5 points in terms of narrative, 7 points in terms of character, and 3 points in terms of design. Now, the first point in terms of character is Aizawa and Vlad's. Sorry, first point in terms of narrative is Aizawa and Vlad's explanation to their class as to what they did wrong. And here, let's start with Vlad. Vlad basically talked simply about the leadership issue that existed in that team, because it wasn't really emphasized whether Juruto, the beast guy, or Ibara, the Greek goddess plant lady, were in charge. And in fact, it kind of seemed that way, because at some point at the beginning, it seems like Juruto was the guy that was, he's the boss, he's in charge. And then it seemed like Ibara was in charge, and it kind of got messy there. And he does have a point. Now, Aizawa, on the other hand, I half agree, half disagree with what he's saying. And I know this is Horikoshi's world, don't get me wrong. But I think there's a little fluke. And please hear me out. Now, I agree with what he said about Kirishima. He needs to work on setups because, close combat is his bread and butter. But when it comes to Asui, he basically told her that she needs to stay calm and instead of thinking about what she did wrong, think about what to do next. You're talking to Asui, the stoic of Class 1A. The calm and collected girl, the calm and collected chick that handles a situation by thinking rationally. That's always been her persona. The USJ, look at what she did with Midoriya and Mineta. Look at what she did with Tokoyami during their fight with Ectoplasm. Look at what she did during camp when Crazy Toga was running after them with a knife. Handled all those situations well, I think. At least that's my opinion on the matter, The second point in terms of narrative is Midnight and All Might are here, and I think this just emphasizes All Might's position, because All Might is no longer by himself. He needs someone to be with him. And the fact that he's here, in terms from a narrative point, solely from a narrative point, him being here gives him an opportunity to mentor the other folk in Class 1A and 1B, and gives him more of an interaction with Class 1B that we haven't seen before, because we haven't really seen All Might interact with Class 1B. So from a narrative standpoint, that is potentially what might happen. We might see more of him interacting with the students, helping them, giving them advice. Maybe he gives a student an advice that really gives him a power boost. Maybe that's going to happen. But that's second. The third is Midoriya basically planning against Shinzo. He said we need to take precautions, and now he's talking to Mineta. So in terms of a narrative point, that is a narrative point right there. So it had to be in there. The fourth is Aizawa's revelation. And Aizawa's revelation was that this test's sole purpose is to see whether they should basically have Shinzo join the hero department. And to that, I think Horikoshi, please don't disown me, guys. I think Horikoshi handled the last chapter in the wrong way, if that was what he was going for one reason only. Shinso's team won. If Class 1B would have won in that scenario, then there would be more tension in that last fight. Shinzo would be like, I need to win this. I need to win this because I haven't won the other fight. I didn't win the other battle. That's what's going on. But then this is the thing. If he lost with Class 1A's team and won with Class 1B's team, then what would end up happening is he would be put in Class 1B, or people would think that he would fit more with Class 1B. But if that's the case, then Maybe he won because so he could join Class A later on. But I think at the very least that it would have had a lot more tension for him to join to lose the first battle, so that there would just be more tension there. At least that's only my opinion. Now the fifth point in the narrative is obviously the fight begins, and here we go. Now let's move on to character, and we're going to talk about the fight later on in the character section. The character first point is Vlad versus Aoyama. We get to see the different style, basically educational styles. Let's just phrase it that way. That Aizawa uses and Vlad. Aizawa is a very calm and collected person who takes his time explaining stuff, and just nonchalantly goes through every person. Vlad is more of he explains stuff, but he rules through fear, and that's something we see in his class. I mean, Vlad is an intense guy. Vlad is an intense guy. He got that name for a reason. Now, that was the first point in character that I think I should just highlight, that there's a difference in the educational method that they both use. Shinzo, in the second point in terms of character, is hard on himself. That's to be expected, and it's a good thing. It shows that he's critical of everything. And criticism isn't always a bad thing, It helps you see what you could do better next time. Oftentimes, the worst athletes are those who have no criticism. I'll just put it that way. And not only that, the worst at academia are often those the worst at academia are those that are not able, the worst people in academia and athletics are those with no concept of criticism at all, with no capacity to criticize anything. Because if you can't criticize anything, there is no way you could improve, and this is a good thing. And All Might points that out. He says he's hard on himself, and that's good. So that's the second point in terms of character. The third point in terms of character is All Might. All Might's status. All Might is no longer the type of person that could just walk alone. No, he needs an escort. This time he came with Midnight. And not only that, his appearance here opens up and emphasizes his current role as a mentor rather than a hero. He's retired. So right now, he's just being a mentor rather than a hero. And that's being emphasized here. He needs a bodyguard and he's a mentor. Now, the fifth is Shihai and Tokayami's interactions. And I have to say, I cracked up when I read this. I just thought that was beyond hilarious. That you are a child of darkness too. They are brothers of darkness right here. Tokayami and Shihai. I mean, I can't wait to see that fight get animated. But from what we've seen so far, both quirks basically have some sort of relation with the darkness, and those two feel like a form of rivalry building up between them. And from what I see, Tokayami isn't the type of person that would underestimate someone, so that's good. And I really like that rivalry, and I want to see more of it. I can't wait to see it animated. The sixth point in terms of character goes also to Tokayami, and that's a power-up that we still haven't seen called Black Fallen Angel. And this is the thing. Actually, no. This goes both for Aoyama and Shihai. Because for Aoyama, it's a power-up that was taught to him by Hawk. And I'm pretty damn sure it has to do with flying. I'm pretty damn sure he will use the Dark Shadow Abyss technique, where he covers himself up with Dark Shadow. Then he will create wings with Dark Shadow and fly. He will soar. He will soar to the sky with wings made out of shadows. That is my opinion on the matter. At the very least, that's my opinion. Now, Shihai's ability was just introduced, and that's also part of the character portion, because abilities are part of the character. And he could basically go through and travel freely through dark objects. And I have one thing to say. If he could travel freely through dark objects, and by the way, we've seen him control Fumikage, the dark shadow that comes out. So that is also part of the character because it's also part of his abilities, and it shows that he's very strong. He's able to manipulate things in the darkness. But here I have to say something. How fast is his teleportation speed in the dark? I mean, is he could he potentially pull a Raijin, like a Raijin technique, like a fucking flash? Is that even possible at this point? And if it is, he's a very overpowered character. Now, the seventh point in terms of character is wait. Oh, I skipped something. I skipped number 4, which is Kendo and Momo. This is the thing. When I saw Kendo and Momo talking to one another, I was slightly disappointed because I wanted this to be more than just about them. I wanted to see more of Class 1B, less of Kendo specifically because she's one of the folk we know more about. But in this case, I'm actually thankful because we got new material on her personality, which I'm going to get to later. But that sort of connection between Momo and Kendo would be considered a part of the characterization. And it really does show like a sense of sisterhood, so to speak, a sense of, we are more than just comrades. I really like you as a person, but don't get it the wrong way. I'm going to try and beat you as best I can. And it's that sort of rivalry that I see right now. And this is the thing, though. And this brings us to the last point in terms of characterization, which is Kendo's leadership skills. The only thing Momo has over Kendo is her quirk power. That's it. Leadership, Kendo excels. Raw power, Kendo excels. And because she has a power-based quirk. I mean, everything. And I don't want to even say, even looks, in my personal and honest perspective. That doesn't really matter, but I thought I'd say this. Hashtag Kendo over Momo. Now, and this is the thing, her leadership skills are emphasized because we've seen what she did in the camp when everything was going wrong and the gas was everywhere. She took charge. She knew what to do in a dire situation. She knows how to handle these very tough situations. And she's the type of person that just fantastic leader. Fantastic leader. Her leadership skills far exceed that of Momo because Momo still has a part of her character that's socially awkward. Like there's a hint of social awkwardness. And I'm pretty sure it stems partially from her intelligence. Like she's uber intelligent, but she's slightly socially awkward. And that's not something uncommon. A lot of people who are just amazing in terms of intellect lack, regular social capacity. And it's something we see with Momo. Kendo's leadership skills, yeah. Now let's move into design. Shihai's design, the black and white contrast, pretty damn good. We've seen this in the anime, but I think the way it was drawn this chapter really does give it justice, especially that, like, the last few panels of him. Amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. Rindo's Chinese, sorry, actually no. Why did I say Rindo? I'm thinking of something else. Momo's cape, I really like Momo's cape. We've seen it before, but in contrast to Kendo's costume, it's very interesting because that cape, I think, is a Western concept. At the very least, I assume it's a Western concept, and the way she's dressed seems very like Germanic, like a Red Riding Hood, basically. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. And Kendo, on the other hand, her design is very Chinese. Like I'm pretty sure that outfit, that getup, is Chinese. And I have to wonder, are they going for an East versus West thing right here? Kendo versus Momo, what East versus West? Is that what's going on here? I'm just curious. That's all I have to say. If you guys like the video, please leave a like. Until next time, guys, this is Anime Gypsy, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.